You know, in these days, I'm starting to see a lot of neglect for the child, a lot of devaluing of the children. And believe it or not, part of that devaluing is based in all these different agendas that's geared towards the children when it comes to these left hand ideologies, because they pretty much undermine what their role is. You know, they subvert their role by ingratiating themselves with these left hand ideologies. And in most cases, they're not necessarily ingratiating themselves, they're just being impressed upon. So it's important for us to value our seed. It's important for us to value our seed. You hear about stories like this and it just hits home. This is a story about a young boy who was pretty much tortured by the mother and the mother's boyfriend. Now I say the mother because the mother just watched. And just by virtue of that, that's still torture. You allowed this to persist. So you were complicit in your child's potential demise. I'm not sure if the child passed away. I don't think the child passed away, but the child was brutally tortured, brutally beaten by the mother's boyfriend. This is why it's important for us to value our seed and understand what it means to protect our seed, protect our children, protect our children. This shit hits home. It's like one of those things where it resonates with you because for me, it's only two type of people, or more so two type of entities or demographics that touch me or that give me a soft spot. And that's the elderly and children. And I probably add a third when it comes to the homeless. But like I really have a soft spot for those type of people, the elderly, the homeless, and children. Like if a child can't move you in some way, then you know you have no soul. Like what children do to me is they give me a sense of calmness, because obviously you identify because you was a child, and it's one of those things where you talk to a child, you may be feeling bad, you may be having a bad day. A child could just uplift your spirits. You know what I mean? So we have to value our children, man. We have to value our seed, protect our children. There's too many stories about child neglect, too many stories about child abuse, too many stories about these agendas where these ideologies is being impressed upon them. Like a child can't grow up in a safe environment where everything is based in normal, normalcy, It's just crazy because, you know, it's different avenues of just implanting your child with all these left hand ideologies for them to be led astray. And what I'm saying is, it's almost aside from the content of this video, but it just speaks to the understanding. Protect your seed, train your child up in the way that he should go. You have a story about a woman who pretty much lets her boyfriend beat on her child, torture her child. That's a derelict of duty, and it just speaks to the understanding of why it's important for us to utilize discernment when it comes to who we sow our seed with, man. Don't sow your seed and defile for you. I said for you. Don't sow your seed and defile sow you. It's important for us to understand we have to utilize discernment, man. We have to utilize discernment. Don't sow your seed and defile soil you. And you have situations like this when that occurs. Niggas just, walk around willy-nilly just impregnating anything. It's just crazy, man.
Say the little boy is in the hospital in critical condition. Fox 5's Eric Perry is live outside Clayton Police Headquarters. And Eric, you just saw the mom being put into a police car.
Yeah, only our cameras were there. Good evening to you, Russ and Courtney. That 6-year-old fighting for his life in the hospital, broken bones, blood clots to the lungs, and bleeding to the brain. Only our cameras were there. Take a look as that mother, Portia Wells, was taken into custody. Here's what we know. Clayton County Police say Wells...
Look at this woman. Why would somebody impregnate this? And no disrespect, but come on, man. This is a reflection of someone who hates themselves, which is part of the reason why they allowed this to happen when it comes to their child being beaten. You can tell she hate herself just by how she look. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. It's important to keep yourself up. She's just a walking embodiment of someone who lacks awareness She has no understanding, and she she just does not care about herself. You gotta take better care of yourself, man. Look at this person. Now, aside from the surface, obviously this person didn't really care about their child. Why would you watch your child get beaten? Why would you allow your child to get beaten by a stranger, essentially? Where was the real father? You know, there could be a case where the father probably was fighting for the child, and you know how that goes, where the favor is always, you know, for the woman, the favor is always geared towards the woman. Or it's just a situation where the child was abandoned by the real father and, you know, the child had to suffer, unfortunately. Why bring a child into this world if you're not ready? Why, you know, it's just crazy, man. You gotta vet these females, man. And these last days, it's gonna prove itself why certain females just ain't no good. It's easy to tell these days. It's easy to tell these days. Like you can easily vet a woman and come to a certain conclusion as to what this person is. And you decide whether you want to continue on or not. Like these chicks, they no good. They just no good, bro. Obviously, we already understand the aspect of our community where most of our women, they just neglect the child in so many ways. Where the child is probably walking behind them and they walking in front of them. As far as a female walking in front of the child, the way that the woman talks to the children, it's because of a lack of masculine energy in the home. Real masculine energy that's substantive, to where a father can teach his son something, to where a father can, you know, put the woman in her place in certain ways. It's just not that. We don't have that. For the most part, you don't really see that. And this is why we fail, and this is why we falling. Just crazy, man. Crazy. Certain things, you know, sometimes it just hits you, man. It just hits you.
Boyfriend Napoleon Eight accused the 6-year-old of stealing money. Over the weekend, I'm told the boyfriend physically abused that child for days as his mother stood and watched. At one point,
So that was a good enough reason for you to beat the child? For you to beat the child perpetually? Because you think he stole from you as a 6-year-old? A child don't know no better. A child don't know no better at 6 years old. Why are you holding him to that high of accountability? It's a child. You discipline him to a degree, but to the point where you're torturing him? Come on, man. And even with that, like, you're not his father, so you shouldn't be disciplining him in no way. You should just relay that to the mother. The mother does her job. It's just crazy, bro. It's crazy. And as a father, especially a black man, it should behoove you to want to step in. Just, you know, in regards to how that dynamic plays out, where these young kids, they grow up without any sort of masculine energy, any sort of sound energy, wisdom, knowledge, so on and so forth. So if you somebody that's in the knowledge, you probably, you know, you get with a woman and you get to know her and you guys, y'all grow and y'all tight, and she probably got a child, and, you know, come to a point where just naturally you step in, do your thing, do your job. Because at the end of the day, these children, they need guidance. They need guidance. And also, you know, you further strengthen the culture. You further strengthen the community that way. You know, we can't have people that just say, oh, that's not mine, so fuck it. Nah, at the end of the day, you get with a woman and y'all tight and y'all grow and she has a child, you know. Not saying that this is something that you should just automatically jump to, but it's important for you to, you know, really, really think about that. Like, I should step in, you know, especially if you have wisdom and knowledge and you can teach him something, you know.
police say the boyfriend even told the mom to leave the room. So for days, I'm told, the boyfriend did nothing until that Sunday. The boy fell unconscious and the mom decided to give him an ice bath, trying to wake him up. That was unsuccessful. However, Monday and Tuesday.
So you had to wait till he fell unconscious to do something about it instead of just taking him to the hospital immediately, and knowing that the man was perpetually beaten and tortured for days. Come on, man. This fat fucking hippopotamus looking broad, man. It's ridiculous. Disgusting.
Tuesday. Ordinary days for this mother. She went to work. I'm told she went and got her nails done. Her feet did as well, only to take them to the hospital yesterday. That's where Clayton County Police got that initial charge.
Yeah, these females these days, especially the black women, they have this apathetic aspect to them, where it's like they don't really get affected by these things and how profound they are. Like if you notice, a lot of these females, son, they really don't have no salt, no integrity, no remorse. They just vessels. They just living on this earth. They have no real salt, man. No heart. For you to allow your child to be beaten in the way that he did for that amount of days, and you just get your nails and your hair done, all types of nonsense. Like a lot of these females, they have this sense of apathy, this strong apathy towards important things, real facetious, man. That's why it's important for us to understand the difference between what your position is as a man and what the woman's position is. And for the most part, in this society, in Satan's kingdom, they're going to allow the woman to do whatever the fuck she want to do. Not to the point where it becomes obvious that you got to, hold her accountable in this situation where she's getting locked up, because it's like, this is your child. And you're literally allowing this. You're complicit in the potential demise of your child. Fucking crazy ass fucking story this is, man. It's ridiculous.
That call to that hospital. The two face charges of child abuse. The mom faces additional charges of lying to police. She initially said she knew nothing about it or she wasn't there, but that turned out not to be the case there. So the mom, when we asked her questions on that perp walk to that escorted to the police car there, she didn't answer any of our questions. I asked if she had any remorse or anything like that. I can tell you her nails look freshly done. Her feet look freshly done. I'll go with the handcuffs and the jumpsuit in the Clayton County Jail. Here's what we're working on tonight for 10 o'clock. We're digging deep into the boyfriend's background and what police say the message in all of this is. You'll want to join us for that tonight at 10. Unbelievable and heart.
Shout out to Pierre for sending me this link, and it's important for us to understand. Protect your seed, protect your child, man. Protect your seed, protect your child, because women like this, you hold them accountable to a degree where you take it up to the legal action, and, you get them in this type of situation where they suffer because of what they've done. So this woman, she has to suffer because of what she's done. And it's just unfortunate that the child has to go through what he's been through. It's really ridiculous, man. But that's why it's important for us to protect our seed and understand the value of our children in these days. It's crazy, man. It's very important for us to understand the spiritual aspect when it comes to these curses that we suffer from, when it comes to the ails of our community and our society. The manifestation of it is based in, what we about to see in this story here when it comes to shootings and a lack of regard for your brother or your sister, an understanding of what's important when it comes to your future. These things that happen as far as like shootings and, people getting killed based off of some sort of beef and whatnot, it's all based off of a young black man not necessarily understanding the importance of his future. Because in his current state, he looks at it like he has nowhere to go because he's not got it properly. And this is all a cycle. We understand that this is part of the curses, but this is why we have to maintain our spiritual eye so, we can have a leg up and try to break it to a degree. We're not going to break it 100% in these last days in this kingdom, but to a degree, we must do better. If you know better, you do better. So hearing about a story where, a mother has to reflect on a young 14-year-old girl getting killed in an apartment shooting, it's just sad, man. It's fucked up, and it just speaks to, what we suffering from in these days. A lack of understanding, destroyed for lack of knowledge, so on and so forth. In Israel, our community, Jake, is at a low level, a lower state. And certain instances where you have shootings or, fights that break out to where someone gets killed All these things are manifestations of a lack of understanding when it comes to our culture, when it comes to who our God is. This is why we have to have an understanding of who our God is as so-called black people, being descendants of God's chosen people, the Israelites. So as God's chosen people, being that we didn't live up to a certain standard that he gave us, in these times, in these generations, we suffer. And part of that acknowledgement is just based in the humility for the Heavenly Father when it comes to the standard. We live up to the standard, then things are changed in our community. But the reason why all these things is happening is because we're not living up to that standard.
Hopes Austin police will work quickly to arrest her daughter's killer. KVU's Isabella Basco has more about the teenager's life.
She's always being goofy.
Looking back on the young life of Michaela Franklin, her mom, Tashina Guajardo, has a whole camera roll filled with photos and videos of her daughter.
She's an animal lover. Oh.
A daughter who Guajardo says served as the backbone in a family of 6 kids.
She was very protective, over her family, her siblings, me. And, in her last moments, that's what she was doing.
Early Tuesday morning, Austin police said calls came in of multiple shots fired in the area of the bridge at Harris Ridge Apartments on East Howard Lane. Guajardo's kids were walking a friend to a rideshare driver. As soon as the rideshare driver pulled away, gunshots fired, leading the kids to run away. Michaela leaned over to grab her 5-year-old brother.
My 5-year-old was right next to her when they started shooting, and everyone ran. She probably could have ran, but my baby wouldn't have made it. So she was protecting him, and that's how she got shot. And I looked over.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. God just protecting her little brother. Oh, man. The stories that you hear, man. These stories you hear about, man, really, it's really touching, especially when it comes to the children. These 2 videos I'm doing is based in children. We have to love and protect our seed, man. Damn. 14-year-old girl, man. Because of something so senseless and mindless.
And I seen her, and I knew, but I don't know. I knew that she wasn't gonna make it.
Michaela was taken to Dell Children's Medical Center, where she later died. It's a loss, a young life, that Guajardo says she'll spend the rest of her life wondering about.
She just was a bright light. They took something from me that I can't get back. And they took something from everybody. They took something from this world, because I don't know what she would have or could have been.
No.
That shit is crazy, man. I feel for the mom, man. I feel for the family. This is why it's important for us to protect our seed and understand the value of our seed. And also, you just have these situations that are unfortunate when it comes to shootings and whatnot. Damn, man, it's just gotta keep the Most High within us, to the best of our ability. Align ourselves with the Heavenly Father, pray, earn our keep, fast, and just, give all the glory to the Heavenly Father. Because in these last days, you have a lot of people who are bugged out because they have no connection to anything that's substantive. So you get people that want to shoot ass shit and shoot people and just all kinds of crazy shit. And it's just crazy because beef nowadays, motherfuckers just want to elect to shoot. Nobody fights no more. It's just shooting. That's all people do. This is why I try not to even ingratiate myself too much with dudes that I don't know. I'm good with who I know and I keep it at that. Because these dudes, they insecure these days. Even, in a situation at work where, and this is not even me trying to push this or loft myself up I'm the most handsome guy or whatever, but certain females, they gravitate towards me, and you could see the insecurity in certain dudes just based off of that. And I try to resist and push that away because I see that. And I already understand. Like, I think 3 steps ahead. I understand the potential for somebody to do some silly shit just based off of mere insecurity. And you see that a lot. And this is why I'm not so much so like in people's face or in women's face like that, because I don't know who she talking to. I don't know what type of time this dude on, because most of these dudes, man, they impulsive. They fucking impulsive. They don't think things through at all. Everything to them is just insecurity, because they not worried about their station. They worry about the next man's station, what the next man is on, what type of time he on. Like, people are insecure based off of someone else's security. Like, you see that play out as well. And it's just one of those things where it's unfortunate. And this is why I stay to myself, because a lot of these dudes bug the fuck out, impulsive, reactionary. And it's just due to a lack of understanding when it comes to the connection to the Heavenly Father. We are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.